Hey gang, this is Fillmore, just letting you know that if you enjoy our podcast, quite frankly, a Howard Stern podcast, and you'd like to donate some money for the upkeep, or you want to request certain clips, please donate to our Patreon page at patreon.com/JimFix. That's JIMFIXX. You can donate as much as you want for as long as you want. There's absolutely no obligation.
Artie, maybe it's to take makeup off.
You want to know something? I'm going to tell you something great about Beth.
Yeah.
She never moves her bowels.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Maybe once a month.
I've never seen. I've been.
Honest to God.
I've been away with Dana,
like, to the point that I'm afraid for her health.
We've
getting excellent reports on you.
Do you ever shut up, or does Mr. X just have to punch her in the face?
Now you're going to bring me. So
shut up.
As the producer of the, Robin, when you get an opinion on your own, I'll talk to you.
Are you?
I've put out hit albums. I had the fastest selling album in history. What, are you going to be upset with Jason because he whacks off to your wife? I mean, that turns me on. And I got up, I pished. I don't want to be in a wig and a purse. I do that in my personal life. Yes, I'm like a woman who's been raped.
How much is Howard paying you a week? I'm paying you more, okay? Fucking give me a fucking break.
Now look, I don't want to get into a long explanation. That's not what I came here for. My audience isn't here to laugh. I mean, Gary's got wife and kids. And if I leave, who the fuck is going to hire him? Joe, hi, you're on the air. Hey, man.
Howard.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And nothing.
Listen, I think it's time you come out of the closet with Ralph.
Oh, please.
Because I know deep down, I mean that literally.
All right, so I'm a homosexual.
You're a sword swallower.
Right. I'm a homosexual. You're right.
Nice, Howard.
Right. What can I tell you? I'm caught. Good. In fact, that's good. That would be easy. I'd love to be gay. It'd be so goddamn simple. But then when people ask me about why I'm separated from my wife, I just go, you know what? I'm gay.
I told you something. I will not say no. I told you it's a personal defect of mine.
You don't have to say no. All you have to say is, yeah, that'd be great. I could use the help with Casey. That's fine.
I don't want to be told how to say it. I told you my problem. I don't want to be asked. You don't know that?
Bad position.
No, you put me in a bad position. You asked me. Then I'm not a good guy. I want to be a good guy. Listen to me again. I'm going to say for the 15th billionth time since I've known you. Don't ask me if you can leave early. You know what you have to do, and you know when you have to leave. Don't ask me.
So that means when I have to work.
When I say yes, you can leave, it means no.
Can I leave?
I have no idea what you make.
Really?
I have no idea.
I got a guy now who's finding out the real names of the occupations of what the people do who bully me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm kind of a fighter, so...
Welcome, everybody, for the second half of our January breakdown. I'm Fillmore Fingers, a.k.a. Fillmore, a.k.a. Jim Fix, and with me, of course, is the breakdown specialist supreme, Raven.
Hey, guys.
And this time we got way more clips to go through, and I think we're going to do our best to give them all full attention. We might have to make this a three-parter, but if we do, it's your guys' benefit, so or not, depending on the clips you're particularly you're revolted by. We've got the 12th of January, I believe, the 13th, the 19th, the 20th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. So that's, again, we're an embarrassment of I don't want to say riches, but something
blessings.
Blessings,
no.
yeah.
Curses.
So, yeah, exactly. So we're going to continue where we left off, this time going into the 12th. And the clip, the first one is called Make Room, Folks. Wiggy's Big Belly and Tits Coming Through.
I don't know, Howard.
I'll tell you one thing. I have a triggered mechanism inside of me. It's crazy. I got on the scale today. And if I go 2 or 3 pounds over my goal weight, all of a sudden I go into panic mode and I adjust my eating. Now, today I got on the scale. I'm 5 pounds over my goal weight. And I'm like, I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah.
But today for lunch, I'm making a baked potato with a hard-boiled egg.
Okay, he's a wild man. This is now. By the way, this is a 6-minute clip because you sent me this. If I didn't edit through it, I did listen to it all. We're going to go through only so much of it, but please, I know you have a lot to say about this because there's another clip that sort of repeats this and talks about Beth's eating.
Well, we all know that stress can cause your hair to fall out, but oh wait, never mind. No, that's it. Let's plow through these as fast as we can. See
okay.
what else. See what else is here.
And my party isn't even a party.
What is
Artie,
your party?
True.
Like, what?
I
How did you
think
gain
at
weight?
dinner, I'll tell you how I gained weight. First of all, I haven't been working out as hard. That's number one, because I'm having a whole bunch of issues. But the second thing is, at dinner time, like tonight for my birthday, Beth and I are having hamburger and French fries, faux meat. You know.
Oh, Barb.
They killed some soy and we put it on the grill. Oh
No.
God, he's gonna plug Gardein, I think, here, guys, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Gardein stuff.
Here we go.
So that's our favorite dinner. It's like literally a Big Mac. It's like 3 pieces of a bun with the special sauce, the 2 Gardein burgers, Big Mac, fries, and a
Oh,
salad.
you get a big burger, huh?
Oh, it's
The way they are with food, and this isn't real. This isn't a real burger. I could understand if you were some kind of like really strict vegan, and all of a sudden you decided, okay, we're going to have a lamb chop. That makes the deal. But these Gardein burgers, what are they? Rice burgers, essentially, or soy burgers?
They're soylent green as much as I can tell. But
Okay.
are we supposed to believe that he went from Jean George to Nobu to Gardein?
Right.
Is that the trajectory of his palate? I'm really confused. I know it's a built-in ad.
Yeah, you
and-
think that's what it is? That was my thought as well.
Yeah, and just to note how lazy he is, that he can't even exercise in quarantine on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
And he has nothing
That-
else to do.
He's napping and watching TV. That's
Mm-hmm.
what he's doing.
Right. He is. He's basically a 90-year-old.
going to be a party around here. And we love it. We eat, and it tastes better than any hamburger you ever had. I'm not
Total plug. Total plug. Anybody else unconvinced? Okay.
kidding. They've perfected it. So, that's gonna add weight. But what I'm gonna do is have the same breakfast every morning. I have yogurt, which is completely fat-free. There's no artificial flavoring. There's no sugars. It's completely fat-free yogurt. I
Well,
forget
you
the
do
name of
need
it.
a little fat in your diet,
Robin knows.
Thanks, Robin.
That's good to know.
Believe me, I'm getting plenty of fat in my diet somewhere. And then in that yogurt, I have my Metamucil crackers, which are 100 calories. That's a lot of calories. Excuse me. That's a lot of calories.
Came up.
I have the yogurt, the Metamucil crackers. I have one scoop. I have a scooper. You know how you scoop coffee? I have one little scooper of granola. That ain't great. The granola's...
He really is like an old fuck because, I mean, this is the stuff you do for like Meals on Wheels recipients or, the elderly in homes, when they have a diabetic diet and stuff. And now I'm learning about that, guys. I don't have it, but anyway, I got to eat like it. But
Also, he's told this story 1,000 times.
Yes.
He gives us this in detail. So I really believe that that's what he eats, but it's so sad. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
And, his big splurge for the week is a smear of peanut butter on a bagel. That's his big fat intake, by the way. So I don't know. The Meals on Wheels is a perfect metaphor.
Well, I mean, because I did that for a while when I was in high school, and I just got my license, and they said, you got to do some volunteer stuff. Okay, sure. And it was fascinating when I talked to the Meals on Wheels guy, and they explained exactly how these things were made for catering to certain diets, and I thought, wow, you can do that. You can adjust things. I didn't know that. So anyway, the other thing is, this is really meant for Bob D. There's got to be an episode based on food that we're going to do somewhere down the pike because he has gone after staffers for like Gary for his weight. He has talked about his quote unquote belly and tits when he's got a woman next to him or across his fucking bunker who's been topping the scale. She's been she's been 250 at least for most of her life, and sometimes maybe even more.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous for him when he talks like that. I don't know how Robin takes it all these years. I guess the money, but I couldn't take it. Yep.
When they talk about the 1,000-pound sisters, which I clipped for you.
Yep.
You'll hear her kind of fire back a little bit, not a lot.
Right. No.
But you can tell she's like, I don't think it's that funny.
No, and twice actually. I think we got two examples.
You know, it's got some shit in it. But all right, I have that, and then I put blueberries. That is the same breakfast I've had now for the last easily 5 years. It's easy. It's quick. I have a cup of hot water with that. Now that's a good start. That's right. That's right. Wow. Then I don't eat till lunch. As soon as I get off the radio, whatever time that is, I eat my lunch. Now, sometimes I go fucking berserk. There's only 4.
Okay, guys, now we're going to hear how he goes berserk. You want to take bets on what that is if you haven't heard this? And we know a lot of you guys rely on us because you're not listening to the show anymore and you need to hear the PSAs. You'd think when he goes berserk, what, like steak, medium rare? No.
A pint of ice cream, something.
Right, exactly. Ben and Jerry's Rocky Road, something, I don't know.
Lunches I allow myself. 4. I have a choice of 4 things, maybe 5. Let me see what it is. One of those choices is 1 cup measured of shredded wheat with no sugar, nothing like shredded wheat, a cup of almond milk, and 1 like a pinch of raisin bran with a few raisins. That's 1 lunch I'm allowed. I think that's too much fun.
You know what? How he describes like he has 4 choices. It's almost like the Richard Simmons Deal-A-Meal cards back in the day.
Yes.
Where you pick a card and that's your day.
Right.
So he's just very old school, and I have no problem with being rigid in your diet, but just the level that he deprives himself. Deprives himself.
Both are accurate at one point or another.
Yeah. That it's sickening to me. In this day and age, you're hearing a half a billionaire talk about these kind of things, and he's supposed to be relatable and worried about his weight. And if you see the guy, he's a question mark. He describes himself as that, or a candy cane.
Yeah.
It's a skeleton walking around. And I can't believe that that's going to allow him to live long into his 90s, but who knows? God help us all.
I think for this particular part, I think at one point I'll just decide to put in a picture of him jogging with the shorts on, and you see he's got the muscle mass of a 90-year-old. That's not even hyperbole. He's got nothing on his legs. It's just bag of bones and skin, and it really is repulsive. It's disgusting. I'm not talking about the swimming photos with those fucking blue trunks from 1997. I'm talking about someone who's emaciated. And to take, there's a definite pathology there with his weight, like he's a fucking girl, like he's a 16-year-old, and everybody thinks he's fat. I don't know where it comes into.
No, but I think we can cut out some of this clip too.
Yeah,
this is a long one. It's hard to get through.
Right. So this next one, so the belly and tits is what he was mentioning. Next one, let's called More Time Travel into Unfunny Lands with Doctor Who Gives a Shit.
Hello, Howard.
Stern residence. This is Howard.
Oh, hey. Hi. Is this really? Is this Howard Stern, who is 12 years old?
Because we can't figure it out. They set it up so poorly. He's talking to a young version, and basically it's the chick in the back who she does a couple. I think she does Jennifer Vitz. I think she does a couple of of impressions, and this is supposed to be young Howard. So he sounds like a 12-year-old girl. Like he sounds like a woman, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, it's me. Can you make it quick? I don't want to miss Soupy Sales.
Wow.
This is definitely.
This is me. This is weird.
Who are you, mister?
And you've got the New York accent. I'm you. I'm Howard Stern calling you from the future. This is unbelievable. This is me when you're old.
Old? You mean like when I'm 30?
Okay. And?
Yeah, like 30. I'm like 30. Listen, I don't know how long this is going to last, but I have some advice for you, little Howard.
Okay, make it snappy. I'm practicing Hebrew for my bar mitzvah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Moleka, Halam.
All right, listen, no time for that. And by the way,
yeah, no time for that, guys.
Wait, don't waste your time with that. This is the first advice I'm going to give you. Don't listen to your parents about the Hebrew. You should practice guitar, and you'll get tons of girls.
How many times have we heard him go on about this? It really is a fucking one note, like no bag of tricks. Zookeeper.
Funny thing, all that Hebrew, yet he always swears on a stack of Bibles. I don't get that.
That's the Italian part.
Girls, yuck. I'd rather play with the great Garlou. It's the funniest thing ever.
Don't waste your time with Great Garlou. Play guitar. And girls are way better than that stupid toy. Trust me, that's Great Garlou isn't going to get you girls.
How do you know? Do you get girls in the future? Because you sound like a weenie.
You're dopey. You're really dopey. Your father's right.
I think Bob talked about it, like mentioned it, that it's the height of narcissism to be talking to what you think is yourself. Now, he was doing it before with like Howard from last year. He was doing this time travel thing. This is a little different. This is approaching something approaching a bit that's not as narcissistic, but it's just not funny. It really is. I guess it's because it's too obvious or too canned.
Yeah, it's just there's no good one-liners in it. There's nothing to it. It's just the same old stuff we've heard all along.
Yeah, and at some point, it's just. I'll keep going just a little bit.
All right, look, I'm going to try and help you, and I want you to listen carefully.
Yes? Okay. What should I do, old Howard?
First of all, don't call me old Howard.
Okay, Grandpa Howard.
Zing.
I like the kid, and I like fake Simon Cowell. I think they usually get the best of him now.
Smart Alec.
I'm going to say it again. I want you to learn guitar. I want you to join a band, and I want you to grow your hair out.
Grow my hair out? The other day, I got my pants stolen while they were still on my body. You want these guys pulling my hair out too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why isn't he telling young Howard to enjoy his hair while he has it? Because it's not going to be around much longer.
I was going to say, am I going to look like Ben when I grow up?
Oh, that's right. You live in Roosevelt. Yeah, that's when things were, let's say, getting diverse, you know?
Yeah, it's great. The kids even gave me a cool nickname, Jive Ass Cracker. Isn't that cool?
No, that's not cool.
Oh, for fuck's sake, propagating this myth. Go ahead. I mean, it's not a myth, guys. Yes, Roosevelt did go more, let's say black. Let's call it what it is. But it still wasn't, it wasn't Harlem. Go ahead.
No, he always dates himself with like Jive Ass Cracker.
Right.
That's like a 60s term. And it's right up there with bro, I guess, as far as we're concerned at this point.
Right.
So he just dates himself and dropped articles. And anyway, keep going.
Yeah.
They want to beat you up. Don't you get it?
Why would they want to beat me up?
Oh, this kid is a fucking putz.
You're feeling about him the way your father did.
I know. No wonder my father told me I was a moron. Listen, here's something. Listen to me. Stop. You know when your father says stop being stupid, you moron? Well, I'm trying to help you. I'm turning into my father.
You know, you are your father. I think we can go with the rest of that. The next one is number 3. $1 million in therapy costs result in a worse liar.
I don't hate you. I like you. I mean, I like me. That's why. Listen, after $1 million in therapy, I learned I do like me. And here's the one thing I'm going to tell you. When you meet a guy named Benji, don't hire him. It's a mistake.
Okay, so shit on Benji, cheap, like non-joke. Yep.
Pump up self, $1 million of therapy, totally a truth there. And
didn't you always find that
no end in sight?
Didn't you always find that's actually a thing he doesn't really like? He loves himself more than anything, but he actually hates himself.
Right. For sure.
That's he hates what he looks like.
It's a great dichotomy, if you will, of all he can do is talk about himself. And if it's not talking about himself, good, bad, or ugly, he gets upset. But in the end, we know he's miserable. We know he doesn't like the way he looks.
Yep.
He knows he has no social skills. He knows that the listeners are dwindling. He has to. And he knows that the hate is just growing stronger within all of us.
And he hates the way he sounds, which is why he's changed how his voice has been modulated. So, I mean, it just goes from top to bottom. Number 4, Bob D. Here's your homework assignment.
Sarah, you're on the air in Colorado. Beautiful Colorado. I've been there.
Fake caller.
Hey, Howard. Happy birthday. I'm calling
because while you guys, I tried to call last week, and while you guys were off, I love the app, and you guys were playing all kinds of great arguments, JD's engagement, Ronnie's Christmas party. Anyway, it sent me down.
Let's give a laundry list of what you've missed this week, guys. Like any caller really would be allowed to do this before him cutting him off. No fucking way.
A YouTube.
Oh, sorry, you were going to say?
He never would let a caller go on and on like that. He'd be like, get to the point. What's your question?
That's right.
But these, you can tell they're fake because he just lets them drone on, and then he patiently waits and takes his time to answer.
Mm-hmm.
And he always has like a well thought out answer because he knows what's coming at him.
Totally.
Rabbit hole because I was looking for my favorite pet cock argument that you guys had years ago, which then sent me down all these other videos. And I just wanted to tell you, my God, have you aged well? You are, not that I didn't think you were good before, but you have really aged into your look. You are freaking gorgeous now. Compared.
Really?
Boy, is that writer earning their money. Holy shit.
Do you get a commission for every time you kiss his ass? Do you get extra Steven Singer plugs or something? Let's keep going.
Oh,
see, what are you trying to change?
Well, it's true. I mean, listen, Sarah, I don't see myself. First of all, Sarah, when you call in, don't be on speakerphone. Pick up your phone.
Okay, I'm on my phone.
That's also scripted. Sound kind of odd. Sound on speakerphone as if you don't know what you're doing, so I can correct you and make it seem like this is. I mean, some people are going to think we're conspiracy nuts, but we're not. We've been doing this for too long, guys.
No, you're right.
Can you hear me better?
Yes, of course. You can't be on a speakerphone when you call into a radio show. You just cannot do that. I was almost going to hang up on you because of the echo. Now we can have a conversation.
No, so you'll continue talking to her for 3 minutes. That's why you were almost going to hang up on her. Fuck you.
So good looking. You're so good looking now, Howard.
Is it possible, Sarah? And I don't want to. This is probably Beth's birthday gift to me. She probably hired this woman to make me feel better.
She hired this woman to make
she
not too far off from the truth.
Exactly.
She didn't hire them.
Yeah.
Sarah, let me ask you something. Do you? There's something that bothers me. You say I've gotten better looking. Do you think all of the women who rejected me many years ago are aware of who I am now? And are they upset with themselves that they didn't stay with me or?
Yep.
That's total Bob D homework right there, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's right up his alley. You know, him saying that he doesn't go on social media, but yet he hangs out on Facebook looking up women that he went to school with or used to try to date or allegedly dated. And, you know, has to say, like, how fat they've gotten, how many wrinkles they have, how they've gone gray, how they look like old bags and old hags. And yet, you know, it's all to just prop himself up.
Well, it dovetails well with one of the Fox pilot test shows where he actually has an ex-girlfriend of his on with her then boyfriend or husband at the time. I can't remember exactly. And then he asks her the same question. Are you upset that, you know, you missed out on such a prize, you know, whatever? And she's like, not really. No, you know, and that, I mean, let's be honest. If you're any kind of human being that has to bother you, like, first of all, you wouldn't ask that question if you were a normal human being, but even as a joke and to hear the actual truth, it must be like a brick from a 100-story building hitting your head.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Dying inside. Dying inside. They're dying.
See, this makes me happy
Absolutely.
because for some reason, and I don't know what the psychological profile of me would be. It's probably disturbing, but
we have an idea.
I want them to feel somehow like, oh, fuck.
They should all lament. All of them.
Like I got an email. I got an email from my friend Leslie, who I knew like when I was 12. I had a mad ass crush on her.
Uh-huh.
I would have loved, like maybe when I was like 15 or 16, she developed into a real beauty.
Okay.
And I would have done anything to be her boyfriend. Anything. She didn't give me one look. And she wrote me an email, the loveliest email. Just want you to know I can not believe what a painter you've become, what a talent, blah, blah, blah. You know, it was the loveliest thing. And I said, I hope she's suffering now. Thinking
Thank you, Robin.
married me.
Now, so Bob D, you understand why we're doing this, but this is a little disturbing to say the least. I mean,
Yeah,
I wished ill on exes that fucked me over, but not people that just weren't that into me,
that you couldn't get.
Right.
That never gave you the time of day, let alone this is all a fake story. So Bob D, have at it. I hope we're not trouncing into your territory by any means. That's not the point. We're just trying to enlighten people of, our torture.
Yep.
Should have been my girlfriend. If she could, that she praised that she had just been a little bit smarter and she would have been my wife and would have given herself to me. Now, you think she's doing that? You think she's suffering?
Terribly. She's suffering terribly.
Good. Do you think
that's your birthday present?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Why does she know what you're up to?
What is that, Robin?
Why does she know what you're up to?
Okay, Robin just prodding the
poking the bear.
manatee prodding the bear.
Because she's going down rabbit hole videos on YouTube and watching him on the app.
But what I'm pointing out is she's still thinking about him. And to the point that she knows everything he's doing. Like she's studying him.
Right. That's what I want. That's why I was motivated to be on the radio.
I thought it was to get Ben's love and respect, Go ahead.
Do you think she's turned on by his synthetic hair?
Do you think, does she like guys whose hair could double as paintbrushes? We're on the 13th now, guys. I won't play the rest of it because that's only a few seconds left. January 13th, number one, there's only 3 clips. Wig Jazz.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
Please tell Sam to leave the room or to mute this part and then to come back in like 20 minutes.
Right. The only clip I got from this was from this guy called Feces Eating Charlie. Okay, so Sam, that was your PSA. That was your spoiler. I only got 3 clips, and they don't really make much sense in any context, except if you know that part, that aspect. And I could not make it through too much of it myself without just wanting to put my fucking foot through the screen. And go ahead.
It was a 45-minute bit on the air that this lasted.
Right. Yes.
And it's somebody that Wolfie found from convention that was called cock and ball torture. So they're all people that want to have dominatrix do stuff to them. And he found this guy, so he, I guess, got his number, called him up, and this is what we got.
Mm-hmm. And this is a recurring theme in the last, year and a half, where he's getting people to talk about this quite fairly regularly, this cock and ball torture. And so this is where the sexuality just gets more fucked up and more fucked up.
I don't know why. I just want to make sure we're not in trouble. Yes, Jennifer.
Stern, I am loving this content, Howard.
So that's the young Howard as Jennifer Vitz, the COO of Sirius. Yeah, same phony
same
phone
woman.
Caller.
Yeah.
This is I got into radio. More shit, more piss.
Jennifer, thank you. I was worried and nervous that maybe you weren't digging this, but you are the CEO of this company, and you say you like it.
This guy's eating shit, and Spotify's going to eat a steaming pile of shit this quarter.
So again, that we have to throw in a Spotify dig, right? So that must be still fucking burning his ass, that Joe Rogan thing.
To.
Yeah, else why else put that in? Number 2, guys, and this is your PSA, ladies and gentlemen. Get the barf bags ready.
Can you imagine? I mean, I've never tasted shit, and I don't ever want to go through life tasting it, but what must it taste like? The smell is horrendous. I can't imagine it can't taste like chicken. I know that. It's got to be.
The one thing that doesn't taste like chicken.
I'll be blindfolded, probably.
You want to be blindfolded?
Yeah, but yeah.
Does that make it taste better?
Well, it's the more exciting as it drips down or as it comes down rather than to see
it. Who thinks about this? Okay. What degenerate, delinquent, awful person even gets to this point in their life? And this particular guy, Charlie, admitted to having mother issues. His mother bossed him around. His mother would basically just degrade him and tell him nobody was good enough for him. He wasn't good enough for anybody. And so he went through life. And then when his parents died, he inherited a bunch of money. And he said that's when he went off the deep end into this world of dominatrix and fetish, golden showers, brown showers, scat, having his balls stepped on, you name it.
Fisting.
Another, yeah. Thanks.
Which isn't exclusively gay, but it tends to, you hear it more in the gay subculture, you know, or if you want to call it that, you know. Yep.
If a woman's doing it, is it still gay?
In my opinion, yes. I have no ass fetish. I don't understand. I mean, yes, I like the look of them, all that shit, but I mean, I don't want anything up mine. I don't want anything going out of mine, to be honest. So, I'm disgusted by my own.
But okay.
No, exactly. Yeah. And of course, you know, Beth never has to worry about that because he's never seen her asshole and she never shits. So, you know, in addition to being a polyglot, you know, she's walks on water in her spare time. The next one is He-Man Howie wants to see Beth's asshole. Hold on, this is too long. When she's shitting in his mouth.
No, I got to tell you, I'm not into your thing here. This is pretty extreme, but I think I'd at least want to see the woman's asshole when, you know, I want to see her ass when she's shitting in my mouth. You know what I mean? I want to see. I mean,
you want to visual of that.
I'm a very visual guy. I even say to Beth, I got to put the lights on a little bit because I got to see what it's doing with you.
Do you know what this sounds like to me? It's like, it might be deviant, but I got to still maintain I'm heterosexual. Like I'm a scat fetish, but I love pussy.
Yes, I agree. It allows him to dip into this territory. Sorry for the metaphor, for the phrasing, but it gives him an opportunity to be like, I could never. That's not my thing. Trust me. And it's like, wink, wink. We get it. Okay. But yeah, it just opens the floodgates again. Sorry, bad phrasing for all this material to be played and to get 45 minutes out of some delinquent.
Okay, I have a question for you. This is totally, you know, it's not random. It's all based on this. But do you think at this point in his life he has done some of this stuff, and that's why he's bringing it up? He brings up chess when he was doing chess. Do you think he's done the golden showers and all this crap? Like, because it sounds like all stuff if he's all in for it to hear about it, it sounds to me like he's done it himself.
Well, generally he likes to piss on women. Figuratively, but I don't think literally. So he knows people like Sal on his staff can support him in that way, but I think he might be going for anything that's going to degrade women. Anything that is, you know, going to talk about smelly pussy, that's going to talk about pissing on them or putting their head in a toilet like we talked about on the last episode. So it supports his whole subconscious agenda of women hating. But I think for him, it's all scat. And to answer your other question, I really believe that he fingers himself thoroughly in the ass, whether he's on the toilet or in the shower or just wherever, and that he's got something there. And I know that goes back to mommy issues too, which we know he has as well.
And also he said that on the Channel 9 show when they did this Hollywood, you know, what was it called? A Newly Weird game.
Weird.
And he goes like, I wanted Alan. He was very like vague about it, but he goes, I want fingers in the, you know, with the butt with Allison when he was still with Allison. And it's sort of, you know, it's like what Ronnie's stuff would be, I guess. But now there's no Allison and there's really no Beth. So who else is left? Maybe Wilding and Ralph. So this is from the 19th, guys. We're getting through. Number 1, Wig loves watching fat people.
Yeah, I was watching a whole bunch of stuff. 1,000-Pound Sisters is back on. I really highly recommend.
Howard.
So he goes into that later. So, and I'm not sure if we're going to play those ones later, but it's more the same stuff.
You know what?
Did you hear Robin?
Oh yes, yeah. The Robin's the next clip.
Clicking through, and I saw my 600-pound life.
Yes.
And I said, all right, Howard and Beth, watch this. Let me see how long I can last. This woman was just waking up and she started moaning.
Yeah, they all do.
Like she's in bed and she's sleeping, and then all of a sudden it's time to wake up. It's like,
That's how every one of them starts. They always start with a shower.
So he's fascinated and Beth's fascinated because they can't eat like that.
No. And they love shaming people that do.
Absolutely.
And how they look. Because it makes them feel better about themselves. They both have insecurity issues about their looks and their self-esteem.
Big time.
So it plays perfectly into what they need to fulfill that, because no one's around to kiss their ass or tell them on a red carpet or some gala that, you know, how awesome they are and how great they look. And, basically just paid liars.
Yeah. And they also have he has insecurity about how Beth looks, because how many times has he brought up comments people have made? Oh, she's got a horsey face and whatever. And, so it's multifaceted. So number one was Wig loves watching fat people. And 2, Robin doesn't. Gee, I wonder why.
Well, you were a nurse. You can handle it. Don't you feel good about yourself when you watch that?
What?
Don't you feel good about yourself when you watch that?
No, I feel
Look,
like
you
this
can walk
person
and
is suffering. And God knows what's in that sore, and I have to go.
I love watching them lose weight. You see, I'm an optimist. I like seeing them pull their lives together. You're shameful.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think it's like a subconscious form of encouragement for Robin to lose weight from Wiggy?
I don't think he cares enough about her either way. I don't think, and I think he enjoys that she's so fat and that over the years she's yo-yoed and stuff. But ultimately he doesn't really, I think he gets amusement. We used to get amusement when she'd lose weight and gain it again. And I know Gary certainly enjoyed it. Go ahead.
Well, the thing is this, though, if he wants to keep working with her, he needs her to live. And if she keeps gaining weight or she doesn't lose some weight, that's going to shorten her lifespan. So for him, he's coming at it from a money angle, a marble angle.
Sure.
And he needs her. You know, he said all along that he wouldn't do the show without her. I'm not sure I believe that.
Yeah.
But it would be really quiet in there. And Fred's really going to have to step it up.
I think Fred does a Robin impression.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or he'll just play her laughing drops and you don't need her anyway. They'll realize that.
Yeah.
So number 3, Wiggy loves, this is based on an Eric Andre movie called Bad Trip from maybe 10 years ago. And I never saw it, but the way he describes it, Wiggy loves watching reverse bestiality rape. I found this a little disturbing.
But Eric decides to go to the zoo. And they do this, like there's unsuspecting people at the zoo. And they got a guy in a gorilla suit, I guess, in a cage. So he you know how these dummies wander into this. So he says, oh, I'm going to go take a selfie with the gorilla. And all the people are like, don't you take a selfie? Are you crazy? Next thing you know, he's in the cage, in the zoo with the gorilla. The gorilla pulls down his pants and rapes him anally.
Like, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
That deep-throated laugh that he does. That's
glee,
sincere.
Glee. Yeah.
That's his true self coming through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It just, and he's got a visual on this. He's watching it in slow-mo, everything. It's right up his alley, let's say.
Right up his arse, too.
Of course he does.
Everyone's like, oh, my God. I mean, I was laughing so hard, I thought my ribs were going to break. I couldn't believe it. And the people are shocked because there's dummies in there. And he's getting anally raped by this gorilla. But he escapes. He gets out. And all the people are like, you fool, what did you do? You went in. Goes, oh, no, I left my phone in there. And they go, don't you go in there. He runs back in. Now the gorilla grabs him and
hold on, here we go, guys. Last little bit.
Forces him to blow. Eric has to blow the gorilla. and
they believe this. Who believes this?
Oh my God! And then the gorilla comes all over Eric's face. But I mean, it's quarts of cum. He almost drowns. I'm telling you, I never saw, and I'm not spoiling it because you see it in the trailer. So.
Okay, so this is beyond deviant now. I mean, like, I don't, it sounds stupid to me personally. And it sounds like something you might laugh at if you were 12 or 13 and you were demented as a 12 or 13-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and it's Eric Andre. So I've watched his show on Adult Swim and he's pretty gross. He does stuff, but he's kind of innovative and he has this faux talk show he does. Mm-hmm. But he also, the same premise, I'm not sure, but I don't remember watching the whole thing. Borat came in and he had a movie where an elephant was coming, and it like was a whole rigmarole like this, where it was just being flooded with cum, and that was hysterical, or it was anal. It was something got into the elephant's ass and came out. I'm not even sure. I'd have to go back. That's how little I listened to that one.
Sounds
but
riveting.
It's just the same. It's the same sense of humor.
Right.
That leads up to this.
Okay, so wigs with the real refined sense of cinema. Number 4, Wig Spector ruminates on Phil's craziness because, as we all know, Phil Spector died behind bars not too long ago, and a lot of people felt there was a bit of like not hypocrisy, but definitely projection. And I think this is the one clip where I got which pretty much encapsulated it.
Knowing how Phil's story turns out. Should people have indulged all that craziness all these years?
Of course not. And in fact, that's what happens when people are indulged. They get crazy. He was a guy who started to believe that I guess, again, this is me playing pop psychologist, but when people are writing that you are a genius,
This sounds if this doesn't sound like he's talking about himself. Do you remember that one Imus clip that he went on about Imus and said about he married a trophy wife and all this?
Yes.
And that was him 20 years later. Really, if you listen to it, I might have to dig that up again.
Well, Wiggy's got a lot that's scary in common with Phil Spector. Not just the crazy wigs, but the self-indulgent behavior, the tantruming.
Yeah.
Not to the point of pointing a gun at somebody, but to the point of holding them against their will, whether it be with a paycheck or with threats of demeaning them on air or just putting them on the hot spot if they don't do a certain thing, or devaluing them, as Bob D has taught us so well.
D.D. Ramone talked about when they were recording End of the Century with Phil Spector, when he was still with the Ramones, how he would just debase the people. Phil Spector would debase the people in the studio. There would be, all kinds of coke. Leonard Cohen recorded an album with him, Death of His Ladies Man, which was really a shitty album. And he talked about, he had a loaded gun and he cocked it at Leonard and said, "I love you, Leonard." Shit like this. So Phil Spector was absolutely a complete lunatic. And Wiggy's a lunatic with the same hair, the same fake hair. Yeah. And I mean, I found it just amazing that he was reading this with no hint of irony in his voice, like no awareness, self-awareness. Yeah, and Robin was helping. Yeah.
Well, one of the points was all that violence worth it? Was all that egomania that Phil Spector had worth the art that it produced and the music that it gave us for decades? I think that no, the music would have come out, but it didn't have to come out at that cost. Right. And there was even a caller, Lala, from this Ronettes. She called in the day after he did this horrible eulogy. And she even said she was 13 and she would work like 16-hour days. Yeah. Where she'd go in at 12 and not get done till 6 in the morning or 4 in the morning. And she basically was starved and threatened. But that was Phil Spector. So I'm sure it goes on in other ways, that the Hollywood industry just drives me nuts to begin with. Yeah. So
absolutely. Yeah.
And they're telling you are a genius. And they, when magazines and music people start saying the River Deep Mountain High is the greatest song that ever was, produced. And I think you start to think, well, I can do anything. I mean, it goes to your head. But listen, the guy went insane. But who knows? Look, he was probably always insane. But when you start getting indulged like that.
The difference is also that magazines did write this without any kind of payola. They were not puff pieces paid by Phil Spector to make himself feel good about himself, the way Wig has callers call in and tell him how beautiful he is and how the women he grew up with are, like dying that they weren't with him, which clearly they're not. And, but maybe some of the men are. But the other thing is Phil Spector wrote trillion sellers. He probably is the most successful producer in the industry, barring a few, like maybe Rick Rubin as well is up there. I don't know. There's a few
Jimmy
big
Iovine.
ones. Jimmy Iovine, sure. Like like Eddie Kramer is an engineer. I mean, there are all kinds of people in the industry who are. Bob Rock was another one. So that's the big difference. But everything else just suits him to a T.
Right, and Wiggy uses this as a moment to sort of validate Phil Spector and what he did to get that out of people as music or art. And so he's sort of patting himself on the back for whatever he puts his staff through. As long as they put out the product that they put out, it's all for, the ends are greater than the means kind of debate. Yeah. And also, Phil Spector didn't have the blast or the things in his back pocket. So he could have learned from Wiggy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, guys, we're into Wednesday, January 20th of this year. And these are all Raven's clips. So everybody, she from the 20th on, she clipped these all with her, I don't know, Samsung, and did a great job. So we're going to go through them as best we can. Number one, just a parking lot attendant from Jersey. And you know who that refers to.
Bring this up because it is painful to Ralph and to me. But I mean, Ralph used to be a frequent guest in my home. He was a guy, I consider Ralph a close friend. I enjoy Ralph. I really like Ralph as a person. And I get great enjoyment from hanging out with him.
We know.
But literally, I had to banish him from my home. I mean, I'd invite people over.
You were like Twitter.
Now, this happened like 12 years ago. This was still when Artie was on the show. And we know the story. He threw up in some sheets and threw them in the fucking wash with carrots and food, whatever. He didn't bother rinsing them. He just threw in the wash and then fucked up these sheets. Now, that's not the only... And the washer, yeah. There's no real... I mean, the other thing was, and they'll go through it, he's just a shitty drunk and shitty stone person. He's an asshole.
Yeah, he's a horrible house guest.
Yeah.
He's terrible to hang out with, and he treats Howard's Hollywood friends like shit.
Yeah, because he's his protection basically, and he thinks they're not going to do anything, but people have done things, and they'll go into it here.
You had to get rid of it.
Yeah, I would invite people. Yeah, I would invite Ralph over, and repeatedly, and I'd have him over with some really great people.
Famous people.
Ralph's not some sort of guy who's some rich famous guy or anything. He's just Ralph from Jersey.
I had a good.
Go ahead.
Notice how he's devaluing Ralph before Ralph can even get a word in. He's got to put him down. No wonder. I hope. I clipped it. The antidepressants come up. Ralph started taking them in November, December with a case of the SADS, which could be the seasonal depression. And I think it's because he's been cut off by Wiggy from coming to the house, doing even just hanging out. He's been cut off from any parties, special events, anything. He is on his own, and he realizes he has no friends. Ralph has hit rock bottom, but then something changes, and I don't want to get into it all now, but let's just say we're hearing about Ralph at his bottom, which is
great word.
Wow. They just fly out of my mouth. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, this is my contention. Wilding on the show. Wilding stays on the show. Wilding for a while was looking for a visa, a reason to stay for somebody. They were going, somebody hire this guy. Like, what was he doing with you, shitheads? What is it like? He's an intern. I thought that intern situation was gone a long time ago, and that they don't have interns anymore. They're not permitted to. I'm sure, but I think that Wilding is. Wilding is Ralph's toy that Howard paid for Ralph to keep him occupied because he can't go and see King Baby. Yeah, well, it's just like he's a toy. So he's probably, if you see their new payroll, Wilding's probably on Wiggy's payroll, is whatever, I don't know. But he's a kept twink to keep Ralph happy and to provide content, which according to Shuley, he's brilliant.
Yeah,
I haven't heard it.
The thing I have is, I know we're not a conspiracy pod, but I can't help but wonder, what is the backstory? Like, that visa story just disappeared. Chris hasn't mentioned that in months.
Right.
And all of a sudden, him and Ralph were deep into it with the, there I go again, with the whole election thing on, whether or not Ralph was gay, and Chris talking about how many dicks he could take and the best arching loads. But the thing is this, do you think Wiggy is holding the visa over Chris's head for gay content with Ralph?
Yes.
Because Ralph is like 56 and Chris is in his early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way Chris is into Ralph.
No.
He has to do it for the job. He has to hint that maybe he's into him, or maybe they flirt, or maybe Ralph is whacking off while they're texting, or they're texting,
I
crazy
think
shit.
they hired Wilding is doing the job they were trying to groom Wilding, Mehmet for.
Yeah.
Mehmet turns out not to be gay, twinkish, but with a really, really super cute girlfriend, and not willing to do the dick sucking. And basically, once that was determined, you never heard from Mehmet, and you really don't, except for like once a year, twice a year, perhaps. And he was such a fixture. I think they were pressuring him to try to do it, and he just said no. And Mehmet, as a result, Mehmet sleeps with the rats. And Wilding gets all this play. So I mean, if Jason Kaplan could suck a dick, he'd be the top draw on that show. He'd be doing bear porn for Wiggy and with Ralph and whoever, and they just eat it up. And that's the mandate of the show. They want gay.
Yeah, that's the movement ever since 2013, when he did that horrible presentation, the summit.
Yeah, I still never got Lana Wachowski.
Yeah. That his whole agenda got turned, and even like Mike Morales, High Pitch Mike, was put on the spot for, more gay content. And then it was, we want to get these heteros converted into being okay with gay.
Right.
And so that was sort of laying the groundwork for what we're getting right now. And it's never been more clear. I mean, usually the gay talk doesn't start till 10 o'clock. Show starts at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So by from 10 to 11 some days, we'll have the gay talk. But every now and then it gets put in a little earlier, or there's a segment just devoted totally to that.
Lovely.
So
with those people, that night was just a bad night. Come on.
Hold on. And keep in mind, OJ is still on Twitter, by the way. Ralph isn't. OJ is following the rules.
Yeah. I don't know if we mentioned that in the first part, guys, but Ralph was banned from Twitter, which he blocked me a long time ago. So actually, no, I don't know if Ralph did. He might have. I think he did, and Shuli did, but Wiggy still hasn't. And I've said some horrible stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ralph was banned from Twitter back in December, but he never remembers what it is or what happened to him. But we all know, and Sam can testify to this, that Twitter sends you emails specifically with what you tweeted that was offensive, or I'm sorry, Sam, I don't mean to shame you. Maybe I got the wrong person here. But if you tweet something and your account gets suspended, they tell you exactly what it was for. So he knows. Right. He's just playing stupid like he always does, and being shady and not getting to the point.
Right. And they say you can contest it, but basically they hold it over you. If you contest it, your Twitter's still not going to be activated. So you basically delete it, or you're not getting back on. They hold you over the barrel. And it's usually violence will do it. If you threaten violence against someone, you can get reported, and that happens. Or if it goes against their content rules. Facebook has a similar thing, but mostly about nudity and just abusive language in certain words. Fagla. But you can get around it somehow. So the next clip is called number 2. Ralph shines a light on Wiggy's rudeness.
I'm going to tell you something. I put up with Ralph.
You went too far with Ralph?
Every time Ralph would come over, there would be... I'm going to get to my point
of this. Just to beat me up with the story again? I feel bad about it.
No. Not to beat you up with it, but I want to put it all into perspective because I'm teaching you now. I'm giving you the benefit of my wisdom.
Well, I'm just pointing out, like Phil Spector, everybody forgave his BS. And a woman wound up dying. Nobody's taking Ralph's bullshit.
And if we were to do a psychological profile on Ralph, he doesn't feel bad about anything he does. He's a complete sociopath, and he just feels bad that he's not allowed with Wiggy. So we're going to go a little further here.
Just throw him off.
Well, in a way, I did take his bullshit for a long time. So I'd have Ralph over, and then there'd be an incident. Whether he vomited in my washing machine and I found carrots in there, or he pissed. I took him to a concert and he peed in front of the security people, and I get out of a car. Whatever it was he was doing, or he's ringing my neighbor's doorbells because he's too drunk and he doesn't remember where he is, and he's like, how do I get to Howard Stern's house? Whatever the fuck he's doing, and then or he gets into a fight with one of my guests.
So basically, yeah, like he's under the protection of Gambino. Yeah. It's like Matty Gambino, because Carlo Gambino's nephew, who went around like acting like he was a big shit. It's the exact same analogy. And so if he thinks he's under his protection, he could do whatever he wants. And that's why during the show, how many people had fights with him for decades and hated him and stuff, and he's still allowed to come around. And we did in the Jackie interview that we did. I mean, Jackie made a good point. He said, I was still friends with all the people I grew up with. His older friends. Once he got on the show, that didn't change. Howard and Robin are identical in that they have no friends except later on who they get to glom onto, and they lose friends like crazy if they have any. And your friend is this kid who's 13 years younger, who's a fucking a parking lot or gas station attendant, depending on which story you believe, and that's the person you hang out with. That's the only person you hang out with exclusively. That is nothing if not odd.
It goes even back farther than this, their love story, because Ralph and Howard fell in love when Ralph started making penis molds for the Channel 9 show. And I think it was love at first sight for Wiggy, and he just was totally enamored by him and his interest in penis.
Yeah. It was peaked because also Ralph would have been living that open lifestyle, like openly bisexual, but not really like, hinting at it the same way, Paul Lynde would hint at it with every word he uttered. But and he lived vicariously through him, and then ultimately it became physical with them. And then, but it's still, he's not coming out.
Whatever the behavior was, I would.
It sounds like you're the idiot, not me.
Yes, I am. Oh, this is not your fault. I mean, Ralph,
no, it's not.
Ralph, we're having lunch at noon. Can you hold my lunch till 2:00? And like whatever it was, hey Ralph, don't bring a glass.
Issues.
Don't bring a glass to the pool. And he brings a glass to the pool. Whatever the fuck it is.
They sound like two bickering old queens right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wiggy's got a ton of rules.
Yep.
Ralph can't follow them, and so it's the odd couple all over again. It just. The two of them, are night and day.
And Ralph knows he can get away with it because he's got Polaroids, he's got videos, he's got a book in him, and we've discussed this before. If Howard kicks him to the curb, he better fucking make sure he's in a rolled up carpet into the East River, because there's going to be something hit the New York Post, and he won't like it.
Whatever it was, he'd get into fights with people. And then finally, one day I got smart and I said, Ralph, you're no longer coming to my home. That's it. And even Beth will say to me from time to time, do you think we could have Ralph back? I go, no way. No fucking way. I like Twitter, you finally come to your senses with this guy. Because I love him so much. I love Ralph so much, and I enjoy him so much.
I enjoy him. I've never used that term to explain a friend. Never. Yeah.
No.
I love you too, and I tell you, I feel bad. I felt so bad about that incident, and and those times before when I was there and stuff happened, it was like.
But I was enabling you.
You have a certain way of doing things, and I'm not that like.
Yeah, I don't tell people. I don't tell people I'm going to fuck their wives. I don't tell people. I know. I'm a square. Defensive.
Oh, like that. So he's explaining some more Ralph misdeeds. And remember, he got knocked out at Scores. Go ahead.
So whose wife was he telling he could fuck? Like, this is his big Hollywood Hampton circle jerk that he hangs out with. So whose wife do you think it was that he was telling that he could have had or he was going to fuck?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh,
It's got to be. It's got to be. But I mean, Molly's kind of plain. Like she's not, and this is not a slight against her. She's nothing special. She's not a Hollywood, model or whatever bullshit. It's just she was a writer on Jimmy's show, and she's
a comedy writer.
Yeah. And I actually have respect for that. I mean, I don't know if she's written anything funny. I have no idea. Kimmel's shows, I guess it's all right if you like that shit. But I could see that because also Jimmy already hates Ralph from a long time ago from accusing Kimmel from stealing stuff from the Stern show. And Kimmel did. It is true. There's certain things he did, and he got really upset and said, the next time I see Ralph, I'm going to knock him out. I don't see Jimmy knocking anybody out, but I do see him getting fucking pissed with Ralph and telling Howard behind the scenes, I don't know why you put up with that guy, not knowing. It's like, why would you get rid of your lover? You're asking the wrong person the wrong question, Jimmy. Sorry.
I'm a square. I'm not saying you're square. I'm not saying anything like that. Don't get like that.
You're saying you have a different way of doing things. But the things you do, there was one guy wanted to beat you up.
Because
one guy wanted to fight you.
Okay, but I didn't want to eat at 7:00 in the morning, and
because
so
I'm not running a restaurant. No, you didn't want to eat at noon when everyone else was having lunch, and it's
okay. And a little bit more. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Ralph derails someone wanting to punch him into he didn't want to eat at noon.
I noticed
he
that
totally
too.
changes the train of thought because he didn't want to get into that. Again, he's pissing on in public when they get out of the prom limo, when they go to places and security's not happy. He's knocking on neighbors' doors, drunk as fuck and high as hell. What the heck? And Howard had it. And you can tell when he knows that he was enabling Ralph. He says that earlier in the clip. That's a psychiatric term.
Yes.
He bitched to his therapist about this whole Ralph thing, and the therapist said, just get rid of him. So that's what he did. Hence the antidepressants. Your Honor, I rest my case.
Yeah.
Not a restaurant. It's someone's home.
Why are you bringing?
You don't understand. When you get invited.
It was 100 years ago. It was 100 years ago. Why are you even bringing it up?
He wants to make sure he doesn't invite you again. That's what you got to keep remembering.
In case I get weak and invite you back here, I gotta keep.
Do you hear that term? In case I get weak. In other words, it sounds to me like submit to my base urges, and I need some Ralph, like colon tongue bath. I'm gonna, this is what has to happen. I think without COVID, he sees them regularly, whatever, or he go visit him at his, his palace of action figures and gets reamed by Ralph. But otherwise, in the meantime, So
I
the
don't even
depression.
think it's that.
What's that?
I don't even think they see each other in person anymore. I think that's probably the cause for this little tiff that they're having.
Maybe.
Is that everything is over the computer or the phone.
Yeah, could be. So the next one is number 3, Wilding flies close to the wig.
Chris, you're very close with Ralph as I am. Do these conversations infuriate you? Do they just drive you crazy?
Chris is closer.
Chris is closer to you than me?
Ooh.
Well,
I believe that. I believe that.
Well, you used to hang out with him more when he could come to your house.
Yeah. He texts you back.
You've never blown him,
listen, Ralph.
Howard.
I text. What is that? What did you just say?
You've never blown him, Howard.
Well, you probably have.
Did you hear that? Did you hear Wilding laugh about that? Like do that little yeah. You've never blown him, Howard.
It's gaslighting 101 for him.
Yeah.
He's just blowing them both up at this point, and he's going to get all the airtime he can because he's a total air whore.
He is, and I think actually I give Wilding credit for this. By the way, I think he's being paid to do this kind of stuff. But I think he now realizes he's where Ralph was 20 years ago and can do this and can get away with this and knows Howard loves it. He loves to fly that close to the sun.
But it is amazing to me that you say I don't text you back. I text you back when you write me something fumbled, and it's like, let's get together and go through your closet together. And dude, I'm not going to get on my phone and set it up so you can watch me in my closet.
Right. You got to get a camera now and all that.
Wasn't it not too long ago that he said he wanted Ralph there while he was changing underwear and wanted him to see him. And he goes, "What's the matter? Don't you like how I look in my underpants?"
Yeah, they had their dance parties where they were at a gay club in their underwear. But how ironic is it that Ralph wants to see Wiggy in the closet?
I'll let you know when you work for me. I'll let you know when I'm ready to work. You don't have to offer. Yeah.
Okay. I also let you know that Bill Maher was back up.
Okay, number 4. Ralph has something, and it probably rhymes with maids.
Oh.
And Howard, you're being a douchebag because there's many times I've sent you notes about something and you watch.
I love it.
Thank me.
I love you.
You
I'm not.
me.
I'm,
so don't
I'm
be,
not anti-Ralph.
Don't be like
I'm not
that,
anti.
Then I won't send you anything anymore.
I'm not anti-Ralph.
Now
he's upset.
I like how he always punishes me. He goes, "Well, that's it. You're not going to get me in your house anymore."
Tell you anymore.
I'm like,
no,
"Oh
I'm
my
saying,
God!" My
yeah, go ahead.
Projection alert. Wiggy's projecting his own way of dealing with people is punishing them and withholding from them if they don't do what he wants.
Yep, absolutely. But see how easy he said, "I love you." Has he ever said that about Allison? Has he ever said that about, Beth? Really?
No, maybe Robin. That's about it.
Right. Yeah.
social life is over. He's not going to text me anymore.
Why are you
Oh, Ralph,
saying that?
please keep texting me.
Why are you saying it like it's a bother? It's not
I
a
like
bother.
being. I didn't say that. You're paranoid.
You're the one saying you didn't write me back.
I mean, dude, I didn't know you were so needy. You're my friend because you're not. It's like, dude, I got the message. Okay.
Dude, I become very needy. That's why I get thrown off Twitter. This pandemic is
Okay, so he's going to go a little more into the depths of it, and as Raven said, it's withholding, but it's also they each have stuff on each other, but no one's getting more hurt by this than Wiggy if Ralph decides to go to the press.
Right.
So he has to kind of put up with Ralph.
They both have stuff on each other, and they're both kind of doing a passive-aggressive dance here that we've seen Wiggy and Robin do. So right now, it's like I forget how long this took. This was a while of this back and forth bickering between these two. And ultimately, Wiggy has all the power, and Ralph knows that, but he also knows he's providing content and filler.
Yep.
So he can get some jabs in while he's on air, but for the most part, I think we're hearing, just the downfall of Ralph at this point. And Wiggy just has, been free falling for a while.
Pandemic is tough, man.
Can I give you an idea?
My shit.
I had an
I'm on
idea for you.
medication.
Are you?
Yes.
Where'd you
What
get
are you
medication?
Where did
I don't
you?
know
You don't
what
even
it
have a
is.
doctor.
What?
What?
Who needs a doctor?
I don't even know that you have health insurance. I mean, Ralph, would you? What do you mean you're on medication? What are you on?
I don't know. It's something light. I don't know what
I like
it
how
is.
you don't know anything. You don't know what.
Yeah, and I love that too. He stutters just like Wiggy when he's caught on something. Well, you mentioned it was Wellbutrin.
Yeah, it's a generic one called Bupropion.
Yep.
Bupropion. I think I'm saying it right. And it's also for stopping smoking, seasonal, seasonal. I wrote it down.
Okay.
Seasonal affective disorder, which is the SADS.
Yeah.
And also depression and suicide, kind of people who are feeling helpless, worthless, guilty. And that all lines up with Ralph perfectly. I think it's the perfect storm. And I know.
When you said guilty, that set me off.
I just don't think he has guilt in him. I think he's just feeling alone and bored. And either it's drink or he's running out of options. So now he's going to dive into pills, which he's done all his life. He's been a drug addict. He's been a smoker. He's been a drinker.
Yep.
Ralph is a partier. And now Ralph has lost access to all his normal parties.
That's correct.
Because if he gets caught at one of those gay boat parties in Puerto Vallarta, you know Howard's going to have his ass. And I mean more than normal.
Yeah.
So, he has to do something. So he's taking pills. But later we find out Wiggy got him off the pills.
Yeah.
He had to stop taking them like a week later.
Yeah.
Because I guess, well, that's what they say. I don't know if it's what's real here. Like there's a great gift that says none of this is real.
Yeah. Right.
So that's kind of how I feel half the time when I'm talking about. I just go with what I'm given.
Okay. Number 5, I should have married Ralph.
Everybody thinks everything they do is so fucking wonderful. Everyone with a podcast, everybody, like, oh my God, everything. It's like
I'll tell you something. What's funny though, sometimes I'll take a really nice picture and think it's great, and I'll post that, and like nobody reacts to it. But you put up a picture of food, and people love it.
I know. I don't understand that. Why do
I don't understand it either.
Let me see his breakfast. Wow, look at that.
Hashtag silver spoon at sugar in the raw. Hashtag.
Okay. Sugar in the Raw is one of those restaurants, one of those fruity places, like, everything's all natural and whatever. That's the best of my knowledge. Let's keep going.
Sunday morning coffee.
I should have married him. He'd make a great wife for me.
Oh my God, I would.
Yeah. Could make me my pignollies.
Do things like that.
Pignollies.
Yes. You see all the bedding I bought. Oh my God.
I can't wait.
Take a picture, Ralph.
Yeah.
Well, you can't put it on Twitter.
What's the thread count?
No, I'm concentrating my like Instagram is better.
He said, "I can't wait. I can't wait to see it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have married Ralph. I got stuck on that one.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that wedding? Holy shit. Wiggy's dressed up as Julia Roberts in some movie.
Ralph would come down with the lightsaber down the aisle. They have like
action
Wookiees
figures,
Wookiees as the ushers, like that kind of shit.
Totally.
Yeah, and the pastor would be dressed as Iron Man or something like that, or Spock. Now I think I got my Photoshop ready for this one. But Matthew Schultz, you did a great job on the one that was a little too late for the first one, but we can always use those at some point or another. Number 6 is called Abandonment Issues.
What did you tell the doctor that made you think you're so depressed? I don't know you like that. Are you really that depressed?
Dude, you're disconnected. You don't know. You
tell me stuff.
You've abandoned him, Howard. How dare you? Now he's all depressed and you don't even know it.
I'm not going to call people up. You abandoned me, Robin. Howard did. I'm not going to call people up and complain. What?
Maureen, you're on.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Ralph just said that Wiggy is disconnected, that he's out of touch.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he's not relevant. He's not understanding the culture and what's going on in the world. He called him out on that. Then, boom, he hits Robin with, "You've abandoned me." She doesn't answer her phone. She is glued in on that TV 24/7 when she's not working.
Yeah.
So Ralph literally has been abandoned by both of them. Both of these celebrities that he had as calling cards to use as his get out of jail. Wherever he did anything bad, any club that he got kicked out of for selling drugs or fighting or pissing off people, anywhere. It was just Howard Stern, boom. And Robin used to carry him around as man candy, which doesn't make any sense. I understand that, guys.
She needed company. Yeah, but she also needed someone to kiss her ass. Yeah.
Right.
They went to Wimbledon or something like that. They went and saw, I don't know, basketball games, whatever. He would he'd take him, and he that stopped eventually. And I'm sure it was because, it's Ralph. Number 7, I Miss You, Man.
No, Ralph had gotten to that point.
Yeah, I didn't either. Well, you wouldn't know. You abandoned him.
I abandoned him. I tried to get a hold of Ralph at the very beginning of this thing. He was impossible to get in touch with. I can't chase Ralph.
That's not true. You don't text back. I've texted you. You know how she is, Howard.
God, Howard.
Yes, I know.
No, I know.
I texted you several times, Robin, over this time, and I don't hear.
I got to go back and look at that. I don't know that that's true.
Go ahead. There's only a couple seconds. Oh, hold on. There's only 8 seconds.
Miss you. I'm upset.
I miss you too. I think you abandoned me.
Breaking news: Trump.
Okay, that last part wasn't necessary. But go ahead.
So we have 3 MPD people, and they're all doing a dance, right? Yep. It's kind of like a group dance where they're all holding hands, and it's one gets thrown into the middle, then the next gets thrown into the middle, and then they derail it. And it's a constant circle of nothingness because nothing gets answered. There's no accountability taken. no responsibility. No one says I'm sorry. Nobody admits to anything. And this is the crux of what we talk about so much with Bob. Thank you, Bob. I love you so much, man. as the to go along with the clip, like it's just amazing to hear. So just wanted to point that out.
This next one is called "Wig Always Has Time for Ralphie Cakes."
I mean, there was a ton of people who
text me first. I don't like to answer the phone.
He doesn't pick. I called him the other day.
See, that's the thing. I call and no answer.
He doesn't pick. I called his hard line. I called his hard line. His phone doesn't ring. Can you imagine? That's the answer. So I said, dude, I call you back. I don't have when I call him back, I really am a busy guy, believe it or not.
Go ahead. Well, we don't. And there's, sorry, Wig.
No, isn't it called a landline, not a hard line? Come on. Yeah. What is up?
Yeah.
Get with it, man.
Listen, his modem is always pinging.
And it's like, okay, I got 3 minutes, I'll call Ralph. You call him and it's like trying to get through to the mayor, And it's like, fuck this, It's ridiculous.
He doesn't even have an office to take your call.
Yeah, go ahead.
Whoop, whoop. Projection alert. Here we go again.
Number 9 is called Wiggy Calls Wiggy a Pussy. And Caller calls Wiggy a pussy, and we agree.
Listen, Howard, you need to man up, man. You are such a pussy.
Hey, this is the trouble. Todd, I would like to have...
It's my turn to speak, Howard. You speak for 4 hours. Well, you used to speak for 4 hours. Listen, you just got a big contract. You should be stroking your meat, man. You should be the happiest guy in the world.
I didn't say I was unhappy. I said certain songs evoke a response.
Okay, hold on. Now, I think this was a real caller. I don't know why, but it's just the call quality is horrific. And I don't know, this one convinced me. Yeah.
We've had confirmation that some real calls get through.
Yeah.
There was a Missy Peregrine discussion, and somebody on our Facebook page had a friend that called in, allegedly. So I believe that.
Okay.
This one, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give 5% of the calls are real.
Okay. So occasionally, I think a lot of the times he will let one through just to see if he can handle it. And then it reminds him, oh God, I can't do this. I got to go back to the office callers, because there I could guarantee that, it's never going to go the way I don't want it to go. So.
Makes sense.
I'm going to treat you seriously. I mean, but if I'm a pussy, excuse me, I'm going to ask you some questions. If I'm a pussy, if I'm a pussy, why must I man up?
You gotta man up, dude. Life is a struggle.
What's so great about your life?
What's so great about my life?
And here's the trouble. Here's the trouble with men that I find.
He knows all about them. Go ahead, Raven.
All about men.
Yeah.
He's cutting this guy off left and right. So yeah, it's a real call.
Yeah.
He only talks over real calls when he doesn't like how they're going.
Exactly.
As soon as you say you get emotional about something.
And he just potted his volume all the way down so he could.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Something.
Thank you, Robin.
Guys like this, I can just picture what he's like. Guys like this get very threatened, like they're homosexual or it's gay to, feel something through music. And these guys are emotional and they do feel stuff, but for some reason it triggers in them. Like if I admit that I have emotions and I get sad, you couldn't be human, Todd, if you don't get sad.
Listen.
Okay. The other thing is, guys, I should have explained this. My bad. This was prefaced by a bunch of songs that they played that, this one makes me sad, this one. And I didn't want to play them because we're going to get hit with like 16 copyright strikes and this will never get on YouTube. So, and I never believed any of it. I don't think anything makes him sad or makes him cry, except maybe if he took a hit on Wall Street. Go ahead.
Well, for those, since we're not playing them, I was able to document 19 songs that he named and the majority of them that he played. So
please read
it was
them.
all prompted by a fake caller.
Yeah.
that, or email, I can't remember, but it was fake, and it was totally to set up this bit that they happened to have like 15 songs queued up. So the ones that stand out were Maren Morris Girl, which if you ever hear it, I asked Kayla, what songs do you think are good ones for this to clip, and not realizing about the copyright strikes.
Yeah.
And she said Maren Morris because he wants to be her.
Yeah.
And the second one was Bruce Springsteen's Tougher Than the Rest, because it was about missing enjoying her life after he dies. And I brought up pool boys and wine, but like Bowie used to make lists, and Bruce Springsteen was always on them. And now Howie has a list.
Yep.
And it was just such a hypocritical thing. So let me just get into more of the music. It was the Toadies' Possum Kingdom, Save Yourself by Stabbing Westward, Sponge's Plowed, Blink-182 Stay Together for the Kids, which is really ironic. That takes them to a dark, dark place. Brandi Carlile, The Joker.
Great song. I will give that one credit. That's a good song, but it's not emotional. It doesn't make me cry. It's just a fucking good song.
And then there was Everclear, Father of Mine, which Harold Boston on our site was happy enough to post the lyrics and show that like his dad never beat his mom or any of that. It was more directed to, I think, how Wiggy's kids would have viewed Wiggy.
Mm-hmm.
Father of Mine, why did you abandon me? Where have you been?
Sure.
Okay, some more songs. We're only up to number 8. Number 9, Government Mule, She Said.
Number 10 on the QF countdown.
Number 10, Three Strange Days by School of Fish.
What the
Number 11, Lucas Graham, 7 Years Old. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, Right Between the Eyes.
Okay, that's more his wheelhouse.
13, The Eels. I forgot to write the title. I didn't grab that.
You have disappeared. Oh, there you are.
14 was Sia, Elastic Heart.
Okay.
15, The Fugees, Ready or Not.
Oh, God.
16, a classic, Hum by Stars, which this one and The Fugees, he said always reminds him of a certain person, each of those songs. But we've heard this all before. It's probably himself.
Yes.
We don't know in what sort of reference frame. And he always makes it sound like it's about a girl, but we know it's about himself thinking of himself as a girl.
Yes.
So that's just my take. People may disagree. That's fine. I'm just here to report the news, folks. Number 17, Willie Nelson, Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground.
Great song.
And I love Willie Nelson, so I'm not going to say anything about that.
Yeah.
Now, this is funny because we heard in the last show we did, how he puts down the Rolling Stones, yet Moonlight Mile brings him to a really sad place, apparently, depressing. And last one was Billy Joel, Summer Highland Falls. So I like Billy. I'm not going to say anything bad about him or his music. I just want to say that Wiggy has the worst taste in music ever. Completely. And it's so dated and poserish. There's nothing from 2015 or on here except maybe Brandi Carlile and Maren Morris, which for a 67-year-old man I find odd. No? Yes.
Well, I don't know. When I started the last few years, I'm playing catch up with my music. Sort of new music, etc. And what I'll usually do is go, if I like a song, I'll go on All Music and check out, the album and see what they recommend. And 9 times out of 10, the albums they recommend have they're not really that comparable, and the style of music isn't really. They're just doing their best to spitball and say, well, you might like this and you might like this. I mean, I might be if you get Swerve Driver, it'll give you into Chapter House and Slow Dive and all these bands. If you like Soundgarden, obviously, it's easy. It'll take you into grunge stuff, or Eric's Trip from Canada, from East Coast Canada. I mean, that I get, but I would prefer looking these days. I spend more time going back into like jazz things or old blues, Chicago blues, or like even Lead Belly stuff that I would never listen to. He gets given songs. I don't think he actually actively looks for music. I think you might like this one, because almost nothing is. I don't think he's proactive about his music ever.
No.
Yeah. So the next one, was still in the same clip. Hold on.
One of my favorite all-time songs is "Someone Saved My Life Tonight" by Elton John. It's a great song.
Beautiful song.
Crying. It doesn't make me cry anymore, Howard. Wake up, man. You have a great life.
I didn't say I cry. I said I get sad. I wish I could cry.
You said you get emotional.
Todd, I do get emotional. You never get emotional. You're such a dumb fuck, Todd. You're part of the problem. I'm going to say it right now.
I'm part of the problem. You're the
If
one
you
that
can
voted
be
for
a
Biden.
dude who says you get emotional about something, get the
Didn't Beth say in the Ablo segment that he cried when he saw Marley and Me?
Yeah.
So he cried like a baby.
fuck out of
Forget
here.
it.
What, a robot? What's wrong with crying?
No. I get emotional when my wife, who's a school teacher, can't teach her kids.
That's right.
They go to school and teach kids.
Well, that's you're such a
where I get
pussy.
emotional.
Wow, you're a pussy. You're a pussy. Get the fuck out of here, you scumbag, and get a decent phone. Fucking
I
hate
don't know
that
what we're
guy.
talking on. A tin can?
I
With a
mean,
string?
yeah.
That is going to send him to a dark place, that fucking call. I bet you, I guarantee you that call sent him to the fucking psychiatrist telephone. Yep.
For sure, in their staff meetings, he's ranting, "No more real calls. I can't take this bullshit."
I believe it. Yeah.
It gets to him. It eats up his ego.
Mm-hmm. This next clip is called Fran Lebowitz, I hate radio, I love radio. Because he went on a big spiel about her and how it related to him and his hate for radio because he loves it and all this shit.
She made a good point. I was watching it last night, and she was talking about if you're really brilliant at something, if you're really good at it, you have to hate it. Like, she hates being a writer.
Which I think is complete horseshit, and he wants to equate it to, he just hates doing work, guys. It's not he hates this and he loves this. He hates pretty much everything, doing anything. And the painting, he's going to hate that as well because he can't stick with anything. He's gotten like OCD, he's got like ADHD as well as being a narcissist, and he also sucks at what he's doing. We'll get into that later because anyway. So I could play a little more.
And
Well,
if this makes
she's had writer's block for about 20 years or something.
Yeah. And I really liked when she said that because I've always hated being on the radio. I've hated it. I love it, but I hate it.
He doesn't love it. He loves the money he got from it, but he hates the fact that he had to be on radio. He could not succeed in any other medium. Okay, books, the first couple books, but that was, he sold to the New York area basically. And, it wasn't like, people in France were raving over private parts of the book, and Miss America was on the #1 charts and the fucking New York bestsellers in Germany. So go ahead.
He loves it. He loves radio because it gives him a voice.
Yeah.
It makes him feel pompous and egotistical.
Yep. That's right.
It feeds the narcissism. But he hates it because there's rules and people don't like him. People hate on him and make podcasts about him and Facebook pages and morning threads about him because honestly, it's not knowing when to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why we're here, is like, we get it. There was a time that this was awesome and we used to talk about it and it was fun and we joke with our friends about saying stuff, but we don't do that anymore. That's why it's come to this.
Right. And on top of that, guys, he loads the fact that he could not succeed in any other medium. He goes, like, radio's the lowest rung of the show business. I'm sure theater is even lower because you don't get paid very much, if at anything, for theater. But radio was like the back door, and he totally backdoored into Boston University. He backdoored into radio. He backed into whatever, TV, everything. It was always not on merit. It was based on, what the fuck? Let's take a chance with this shithead. And then every channel he worked with, when it was the Channel 9 shows and then the E show, he was impossible to deal with. He was like Ellen to all those execs, and they hated him. Even when they were making good money with advertising, if they were, or the ratings were good, they're like, we can't fucking deal with him. He's an asshole. And he's a baby. They just didn't understand then what we know now, obviously. So
all I wanted to do since I was 5 years old is be on the radio. But the truth be told, the reason I hate it is because I care so much about it.
We hear the clips. I'm not so sure. Next clip is called Fran Lebowitz, Major Projection About Podcasts and Painting.
But if you want to be one of the greats, if you tell me you love doing it, you're probably not great at it. Like I hear from people who tell me, oh, I'm on radio now too. I go, oh, really? Where do you work? I have a podcast. I go, how do you like doing it? Oh, I love it. I love it. I go once a week, and I'm like, oh, yeah, of course you love it, because you're putting no effort into it.
I love it. I can't tell you how much effort we're putting into it. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. You're welcome, Wick.
Speak for themselves. They really, it's so easy just to let them play, but like, guys, you got to hear what we're hearing.
Yeah, exactly.
You're probably just going on there and boring the piss out of everybody. Just fucking, you're treating it like you should have anxiety about it. You should worry about every element of it. You should care about your audience. Same with painting. I think some people who paint, they don't put in, they kind of go half-assed at it. And it looks like a child drew something. It's like they don't go the full effort. They don't really go the distance.
Oh, my God.
In the
latest, too good. I forgot how good these were.
In the latest episode, Fruit, guys, the first part of this breakdown, I put up illustrations, his paintings, and my favorite one was Beth on the beach with her bathing bottom kind of half going down. It totally looks like it looks like it should have a sticker saying, and the winner of the 7th grade art competition goes to. The next one is called Friendly, but yes, Howard, you do indeed suck at painting.
Playing chess. I wasn't great at it. And I knew I never would be. I started too late in life.
And you used to yell at me for jumping from thing to thing to thing.
You didn't start too late at chess, Howard. You're a fucking 79 IQ, and that's why you suck at chess. People used to say, oh, he's like a chess master. He's a puppet master. No, he's not. He's a fucking tyrant. And what he says goes. So, yep.
Did you like Robin saying, and you used to bust on me for getting into so many things?
Yes.
She got her little jab in. Go, totally. Robin.
But, I mean, he was right, and she's right. Like, they're both right about each other, totally.
Well, listen, you have got... Now, I decided with painting that I don't enjoy painting, by the way. That's how I know I could potentially be great at it. Because I hate it.
What?
I suck. I berate myself the whole time. I'm in the middle of working on a painting that I can't figure out how to do this complex scene that I'm painting. And I hate myself for it. I hate that I suck so bad. And I sit there the whole time and go, you suck.
We know. We know, buddy. We know.
Okay, this next one is called How Many Dicks Is That?
2 dicks at a time, you say, huh?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And 2 mouths on my dick, which was one on the balls and one working the shaft.
Wow.
And it was fabulous, and I miss it.
I didn't realize you were having such a party. All right, thank you, Chris. That's awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Michael says...
I'm sorry I didn't preface that one, guys. I just went straight into the gay Grand Canyon and without a parachute. But go ahead.
Do you hear Fred earning his money playing those sounds behind him?
Oh, yeah.
There's no porno playing in this background. This is all just Fred pulling clips.
That was a collage.
Sex in the background.
That was layers. That was like a triple layer chocolate fruit cake. Okay, this next one is Ralph Twitter deleted comment.
You would be so annoyed if you were following someone and their tweet box was like a mile wide.
Right. They don't follow me if you don't like it. I mean, I'm not begging anybody for followers. I was getting rid of people. I probably blocked like 3,000 people. I mean, it was like a job, getting rid of these idiots.
A job.
Now, and a job you get paid.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, like a job. Well, that's good. You're close to something big.
Now, go, please. I know this was like a find because they deleted this, according to you.
Yes. Another one we found deleted comment, and you hear why they deleted it, because it talks about Ralph had to delete like 3,000 comments from Twitter from all of us haters out there. Like this was a full-time job for him. He said it.
Yeah.
Well, we can't have that on the air. God forbid.
No. So do you think it was Wiggy decided to knock that out, or Marcy did?
Oh, I think Wiggy played along with it during this, but he made a note somewhere, and the next break he texted like, staff, cut this. cut this immediately. And I think Marcy was doing the same thing at the same time, and they probably got bombarded from both ends.
Yep.
Just like Wilding does. And he couldn't let this air on the replay. And I was unable to clip this. So thank you so much for getting this. Because I think it just goes to show how much hate people like Ralph get, or The Stern Show, or Howard. And that's why he doesn't post on Twitter, because he's too lazy to delete 3,000 comments. And maybe Ralph went on those meds, those antidepressants, because he had to delete 3,000 comments every single week or every day or after every show.
Right.
And he couldn't take it.
Right. Well, the next clip is called Wilding with Two Dicks in His Mouth and the Listeners with Too Many Dicks in Their Ears.
No, as a note to the gay community, we should be handling an emerging pandemic virus better than any other community on the planet. There is no excuse why gay people should not be taking this virus seriously. If I haven't sucked a dick in 10 months, you can stay off the beach in Puerto Vallarta with 100 other gay guys.
Well, there's the quote of the century. If I haven't sucked a dick in 10 months.
If I haven't sucked a dick in 10 months.
This is a guy who sucks tons of dick, right?
Howard like frothing now. He's in his element. He's well into. He's in Dickville, and he's got all the provisions he needs.
How much dick did you used to suck before the coronavirus?
Oh, anytime I could. One time I had 2 at once.
Right.
And it wasn't just sucking. One time I gave a guy a hand job on a booze cruise by the Statue of Liberty. Right. I loved it.
This guy practices what he... This guy is the Ulysses S. Grant of the gay Civil War. So listen to him, Chris Wilder.
And I'd like to say one more thing real quick, because people will turn around and they'll say, well, you sucked it.
Guys, believe it or not, we are on January 25th. And this was a long slug, but I think a lot of small clips as well. There's... the first one is called Number One, Howard Needs a Big Cock.
What a man. I wish I was a tenth of a man that he is.
Was he referring to Orlando Bloom?
Yeah. From Inauguration, Katy Perry was on there.
That's what I thought. I couldn't.
He said Katy Perry always reminds him of Orlando paddleboarding with his cock out.
And did he bring it up?
Asshole.
Did he bring it up on 2 separate days? Because I think I have clips from different days for this as well.
Unless we're talking about somebody else, but that was the first thing that came to my mind.
Okay, so here it goes, guys.
I really do. Bet he's got a big cock, too. Fuck.
Why does he need a big cock?
Exactly. I need a big cock.
That's a man, baby.
Don't pull that clip so that for the rest of my life here. I need a big cock.
Please pull that clip. Give it to me.
How dare you.
Yep.
I just realized who he was talking about. I checked my notes. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, okay.
Another former guest.
So he was referring to 2 different guys' big cocks. And a guy who recently, came on the last year we did the Tom breakdown. And the next one is, there's 2 here that I don't know that I'm going to play the whole thing because they're the Foo Fighters. This little one I'm going to play. He basically taking credit for the live of doing another like circle jerk victory lap for having them play Everclear live acoustic on the show. And like, ooh, I created Unplugged, Robin. Go ahead.
Yes, he took credit for their whole career launching off of this one acoustic song, which he says he suggested. And I believe it was just because they couldn't get the electronics up to speed for them. So it was like, hey, just play it off the top of your head and just sing an acoustic. And it happened to be like one of those magical moments that was beautiful. So I'm going to give Howard some credit for being there at the time when they were there and having them play this because it's a great song.
But they already their big hit with their first big hit was Big Me, which had nothing to do with Howard whatsoever. So it wasn't as if he was like, we played them all the time. I was like, originally there were some bands that they kind of broke, like Soul Coughing and I'm trying to think of another. No, there's not too many, but that was one I can think of. And whatever, we'll play the clip so you guys can hear.
Okay.
This is important. I'm a huge, huge. I'm a huge fan of the Foo Fighters.
Yes.
And I love those guys, love their music.
So that continues.
No.
The first time, I think, yes, they performed Everlong acoustically.
Yes.
This was a big deal because they had never done that song acoustically. Dave Grohl did it on the fly, and it sounded amazing.
Hello,
Hey now.
waited here for you.
Remember, I said to him, do it acoustically.
Yeah.
And he had said to me, you know, I had never done this acoustically before. It never would have occurred to me to do this song acoustically. And
here's a trade secret, guys, before as I interrupt the extended length that we need. Most bands, I'd say the majority of bands, their songs come together. They write them acoustically, and then they on an acoustic guitar, and then they put the basic chords together on a guitar, and then they record. Sometimes they'll jam, like Under Pressure by Queen was a jam session with them and Bowie. Certain other songs, the Jesus and Mary Chain, most of their songs are written on acoustic, and then now especially, and then they work them so that if they had to go acoustic, they could play them. Kiss, MTV Unplugged. They picked songs of theirs that would have worked in any format. That might have been one of my favorite, because I used to be a huge Kiss fan, but that worked better than Nirvana's Unplugged album. So different bands can wing it. They can do it absolutely acoustically. And I don't think this was that much of a stretch, but it was a good performance.
The Foo Fighters would have been famous and successful without this song. Let's just leave it at that. They were hugely successful before this. I have been listening to them since they first came on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a huge fan of theirs. I'm a little sad by what they've put out recently, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I have he's got his kids and he's working with this drummer in London who's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing other fun stuff. But for Wiggy to take credit for them, and, this is kind of setting him up for a Hall of Fame induction, which they're eligible for this year, which Bowie brought up. This will be their first year of eligibility.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a pretty solid yes that they'll get in. And Dave Grohl is also like one of the few that's been in two bands, Nirvana and the Foo Fighters, that would get inducted.
Mm-hmm.
Just fun facts. Yeah. Shame on you, Wiggy, for trying to steal their thunder. Just celebrate them.
Jumping on their fucking parade float and claiming some kind of ownership of their success.
he did it on our show, and it was such a big hit that I remember his management called and said, "Hey, can we have a copy of that? We want to release it," or something like that. I said, "Sure."
It got radio airplay, a lot of play everywhere.
Yeah, it was great.
Tonight, I throw myself into and out of the red.
The other one I was thinking of, Lenny Kravitz doing Let Love Rule on the show, I think early 2000s. That was the best version of that song I'd ever heard, because he really guitared it up. And I'm not a huge Lenny Kravitz fan. I like a couple of his songs here and there. I always thought he was like a watered down, low rent Prince. And same with Terrence Trent D'Arby. But God, that was a fucking, if you can, I have the show, I can cut it for myself. But if you haven't heard it, guys, check it out. Number 4, Wig. So that was Wig, the big producer. Number 4, faint praise for Beefus. This is a fun section because for some reason he needed to blow up his beard credentials, and talk about how awesome he does this every so often. He's got to build her up because she's on mic, I think. Yeah.
Do you think it has anything to do with some of the gossip that's been on the AGC page?
Yes, possibly.
Beth liking partying too late. And Beth warming up to the North Shore Animal League CEO.
Well, let me get that exact line. Let's see if I can find it because I clipped it. I don't think I got rid of it. Okay, there's 2. Is this the one? Okay, let me make it full screen. Okay, this is the one that I found recently, guys. You want to read it?
Okay.
Okay.
So this permanent A+ list celebrity in his corner of the entertainment world never has sex with his wife, despite what he might publicly proclaim. Meanwhile, his wife is very friendly with a man who runs a nonprofit. And some of the names that are listed are Howard Stern, Beth Ostrowski Stern, J. John Stevenson, North Shore Animal League, President and CEO. Now, I saw a picture of this guy who is about as old as Wiggy.
Yeah.
He's much shorter than Beef, even in heels, without heels. I just have to believe it's more grifting.
He looks like a freeze dried Skip Stevenson, but he makes Wiggy look like Jason. Wiggy makes him look like Jason Momoa. But I mean, there's I don't know about that, but the problem is the hints are so good. Like in this corner of the entertainment, who claims he publicly screws his wife. Howard's the only person who publicly claims he bang a clock and all this shit. And I know NT. I know NT to know when he's playing with Wiggy. He's not willing to go full on, and he knows all kinds of shit. I know he does.
Yeah.
And but I tend to believe the second part is not true, but the first part is certainly not true. That he's.
I believe it.
I believe the first part that is true. He's not banging Beth, and anyway, we'll go into that here. So faint praise for Beefus.
In fact, a lot of people.
Oh, sorry. This is that was the continuation of the other clip.
Yeah, no, I always had a chair, but it broke.
Because I fainted last time.
Yeah, she fainted being on the air.
Oh my goodness.
When that girl fainted on the Bachelor, did you fainted when you used the model, right?
Am I supposed to hear you on these?
Yeah, you got a volume control. Oh. Here, let me see.
Do I need them? Oh, look, honey.
Oh no, they're not even plugged in.
They're not plugged in.
It's fine.
You don't need.
Just like the rest of the United States, the rest of the world listening to this show. So let's keep going.
If Robin says something to you, I'll translate.
All right.
I mean, you'll probably hear her anyway.
No, when that girl fainted, I related because I would always show up on my shoots without eating, and I would faint all the time when I was modeling. I remember I was wearing a wedding gown once, and they had me pinned to the floor to keep the train from bunching up, and I fainted, and nobody did anything. They were so worried about the
dress. Do you think she gets that kind of treatment a lot?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, they cared more about the dress because it's worth more.
Yeah. You're just a bim. They decided, we got this moose, this fucking linebacker in the dress. Okay, we'll see how it works. Do we have Velcro on the dress? Go ahead.
Don't you believe that, like, when she goes to these modeling agencies, they go, "Oh, honey, you got to drop 15 right away. We need you in a week, and you got to drop 15." So she starves herself, and she carries around gummy bears.
Yes,
that's her fix.
Yep. For years,
so healthy.
For years, he's dropped all kinds of little comments, snide comments about how she doesn't eat well, and so it's not about. And then at one point she was exercising. I think the majority of her diet is essentially sugar, refined sugar, and wine and Adderall and Coke when it manifests itself. So number 5 is one of the more disturbing clips. Fainting is hot.
Yeah.
Give you something to eat, like some juice or something?
Oh, yeah. No, every time I would faint, I'd have to sit and put my head down between my legs. I'd have to sit on a chair and put my head down. Then I would drink orange juice, and then I would start all over, or gummy bears. I always had gummy bears in my bag.
I always thought that was the hottest thing. That's when I knew I was in love with you.
That I would faint?
That you would faint at modeling shoots. It's the opposite of my life. That was so hot. Like women who faint because they're hot.
But gummy bears always worked.
Yeah.
Popman.
I'm in the middle of telling the Larry King.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
I hate to do this, but a serious moment. I hate him so much because this is what gives women
complexes,
disorders, eating disorders. And this is what plays on their minds. Like, we have enough shit going on.
Oh, yes.
With our hormones, with our cycles, with the world in general and being judged. And now this asshole is going to tell me that fainting is fucking hot.
Yeah, the
fuck
evolved
you,
feminist.
motherfucker. I don't give a shit about you. I'm going to enjoy my curves, and I'm going to enjoy my food, and I'm going to be happy. Something you'll never know. So there. Sorry. PSA.
No
Gotta
worries.
move on.
Sure. The next clip is called, and this made me fucking gut laugh, Beth could have nabbed Larry King.
Thank you.
Well, she's got a thing for broadcasters with wrinkles and with balls down to their ankles, and exactly. The difference is Larry King was a talent. I mean, there's one of the best interviewers of all time, and probably one of the worst husbands of all time as well. But rest in peace, Larry. Here's your fucking Leslie West tribute.
Yeah.
If I could have gotten him.
You could have. I think
Well,
he was
I'm
like,
very interested that he had to move. He didn't have to move you and Tony. He decided to move you and Tony so he could get Beth alone.
yeah, he got me out of the room and he got Beth alone.
But the best part of the story was, it was time. It was like they even were knocking on the door, Larry, because it was time for him to go on air. And he's pulling me out with his hand.
Larry the Coxman. Larry sounds like a regular. He sounds like a regular Don Johnson. Go ahead.
Dude, Larry was a playa.
Yeah.
He was pulling her out by her hand. He was like all over her shit. And granted, at the time, I think, I did the math. I can't remember now, COVID brain, but he, same age difference as him and Wiggy, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
So he had like 40 years over beef.
Yep.
But she did it for him. Larry likes long, leggy blondes.
Yep.
Just bimbettes.
Yeah.
Cleavage hanging out, whatever it was. And he latched onto her and he was not letting go. And this was really kind of funny. But beef is going to pay for this. You just listen up.
Yep.
And I look on the monitor. They're setting up a chair for me next to him for your interview.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 sec. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to laugh about titles that I wrote and I know about, but sometimes just reading what I wrote does make me laugh, and I apologize. This one is called Larry Ignores the Fruit in the Room.
I think you were my girlfriend at that point. I don't even know if we were married.
Yeah, I don't think we were married.
And I remember he was walking in with you hand in hand,
yeah, and I said, I'm not going on the air right now.
I know. I remember that. I remember you saying, look, this isn't my thing. This is for Howard.
Then they had to pull the chair out quickly, and then the interview with you started. It was so weird.
Her whole life is like
but
that.
Then I remember after the interview, he made a point to come over and give me a hug and a kiss goodbye.
Was he present?
Not on the lips.
And his number was in my back pocket. Just kidding.
She loves it. She loves it. She's giving it to him actually a little bit there.
Yeah, this is her time to kind of shine. He wanted her on the mic. She said no. Finally, she got dressed, came down, put on whatever. Yeah. And remember we were saying about how much these two guys have in common? I just would like to quote somebody who was in one of our threads about the whole Larry King thing.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Glenn, thank you for this comment. Beth could have got him. Was not her type. She loves ghoulish, rich cadavers. Zing. Thank you, Chris Glenn. Appreciate.
He also dedicated 2 pages or 3, I think, of private parts. I'll put up the screen cap because I have the I found a digital copy, and even though it's never been available on Kindle, I'm making it a point to screen cap the entire private parts in Miss America books so I can use them at a moment's notice. And he went on 2 pages about Larry King, and Larry King has always returned Howard's criticism with praise, thinking that's not really Howard. And the fact is, if he couldn't get on Larry King, and he did get on Larry King before the private parts, he did allow him to talk about shit constantly. So Larry King could have been really mean to Howard. He could have been, but he was just an old time pro, and he thought it was shtick. So I give Larry a lot of credit for that. He took the higher road every fucking time with him, and with everybody really. So the fact that he went after Beth just shows he had a dick, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's a real man. Beth doesn't do it for me, guys. Sorry. Number 8, Beefus, the microphone slut.
To close the doors.
You know why I needed to close the door.
I know. Why did he need to close?
Something could happen.
Yeah. She's not going to be able to control herself and jump on him.
Sweet. He was so sweet.
I mean, but was he
I
sweet?
guess I'm his type because look at his wife. She's a 5'10" blonde.
Yeah, you're everybody's type, believe me.
No, but really, his
But most of his wives were blonde, weren't they?
Yeah, I'm his type.
Okay, well, that's what she's trying to say, stupid Robin, fucking idiot. I mean, it's hard when you've got a 79 IQ, an 89 IQ, and Beth will give her a 99, I guess, or maybe 95.
Wow.
And she's the Einstein in the room. Let's give her, I don't know, 80. Let's give her 90. She knows how to work a coffee machine at least.
True.
Coffee maker, or was it what he called it, a laundry machine?
Yeah, she can do the laundry and make coffee.
Yeah. So anyway, I think also a lot of it is she. First of all, she loves being thought of as this. She'll get all bashful and shy and demure and no, I'm not. She loves being praised. He loves being praised. Robin loves being praised. So they're all a bit narcissistic on different levels. But she also loves the idea. Didn't she just post recently on Instagram? Sam nabbed something about here's this cute guy with a cat, and this was Beth saying this on her Instagram.
Yeah, because he was wearing a Helen Rose T-shirt.
Right.
So she's like, cute guy in a cute shirt.
So imagine if that Jared photo from way back when, the Mom Caves host, did that for, just a stupid Instagram thing that he posted. What do you think that would do to him, setting him off?
Ooh, it's probably 24-hour lockdown.
Abandonment.
The wine cellar is locked down. The fridge would be locked down. She'd be just locked out of everything.
Right.
Locked out of heaven as like
unlucky charms. Okay, let's keep going.
By the
and
way,
we weren't married, and why not?
you know what's great about this tribute? I don't feel sad about his death anymore. I was really sad at the beginning, and now I'm like, fuck it.
But if he was married, he did nothing inappropriate.
No, I know.
At all.
I know he
Let me
did
just
nothing
make that
inappropriate.
clear.
It's not
and
inappropriate
I was kidding
at
when
all.
I said I could have got him.
It's not inappropriate at all.
No, you weren't, you fucking grifter. Go ahead.
I have a new name for Wiggy. It's called King of All Bad Eulogies.
Yes. Oh, yes. Beyond.
To drag a woman right before you're about to hit the air.
Get rid of her boyfriend and then close the door so he can talk to her in private. Nothing.
Number 9 was a wicked clip, guys. It's and I think you called it this, but maybe I just improvised. Wow, nobody stares at me. So, this is Wiggy. I think, like Bob D, you're gonna have a load of fun with this one.
We go we have friends who we go to dinner with and stuff. I'm not mentioning any names, of course. But the whole night they don't look at me. They just stare at back, right? I mean, and then we go, oh my God.
There's somebody, I'm not going to say who, we were having dinner with, and it was just the three of us because I think that he was not attached at the time.
Right.
I'm thinking Alec Baldwin.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy
that sounds
Joel,
about
perhaps.
right.
Billy Joel, perhaps.
Yeah, it's one of these Hampton buddies.
Yeah.
And we were having dinner, and Howard went up to go to the bathroom, and he took my hands, and he goes, "What are you doing with him?"
Oh, my God.
Why would you tell it to him on the air in his presence?
What a dumbass.
That just reminded me of the scene in The Other Guys where Mark Wahlberg looks at Eva Mendes and goes, "Why are you with Alan?"
Yeah.
Sorry, that didn't come out right. What are you doing with this ghoul? The next clip is called "The Skeleton Twins Love Fat TV."
Oh yeah.
Our number one show is Tammy and Amy. Yeah.
Oh, I love
watch.
them.
Hi, I'm Tammy.
And I'm Amy.
And we're the 1,000-pound sisters.
And
We
proud
love
of it, I guess.
We love it.
So that kind of repeats the clip we had earlier, but again, different days, guys. So it just goes to show you it isn't just a pithy thought we had. Yeah, Raven?
I think this stuff is just winding Robin up, and she's getting ready to go off someday.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't understand what weight loss is like. You don't know real weight loss like I do. Like, there's got to be some part of her that just is, when she gets off the air, is just swinging and throwing chairs and like her place. Like Captain Dennis has just got to like clean up and be like, "Oh, honey, you're so right. I'm so sorry."
This girl has father issues. She's clearly a mad Irish drunk. We don't
know that.
She has dyed black hair. She's goth. She's like the fat gay guy son on The Sopranos. She's probably shit in the gym shower several times. And she tells Levy this on the computer, and Levy goes, "Whoa, it's perfect. Perfect."